What's going on, everybody? It is lunchtime. And how do we spend our lunch? We spend our lunch hanging out, chatting, talking about all the things that are going on in the world and especially in the CrossFit space. But before we get started, start time. Start time. Here we go. Man, I keep missing just high and left. Put that just about where I put last Friday's dart. Right there by the 9. Man, I got to get lower. All right. Cool. We'll keep working on it. What is up, Craig? What is up, Corey? What is up, Kenneth? Kenneth, I don't know if you've noticed going full beard for you, buddy. I know you like it when I get spicy and go full beard. But a couple weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago, let's go beard again. Tired of shaving. So we're letting it grow in. So when I'm doing my cross-country trip with my daughter this week, I will be angry facial hair guy when I get out into the Great Plains in North America. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Angry facial hair. You know it. That means we'll be a little bit salty going forward. So had a great Easter. My daughter came home for the weekend. She actually did a senior picture package for some people here in Columbus. And then did that. We had a nice Easter dinner where I smoked ribs for the first time in a while. My daughter loves the ribs that I smoke. That's what she wanted for Easter dinner. She's playing the old, hey, I'm moving across the country. This may be the last time I get ribs for a long time. So, Dad, I'd really like them for Easter. So that's what we did. I got up at 6:45 a.m. on Easter morning, put them on the smoker, and then at 2 o'clock, they were so nice. The bones just fell out of the ribs. They were so tender. It turned out really well. So that's what we had for Easter dinner, were smoked ribs. We had a couple friends over and it was nice. But the crazy thing that I'm going through right now is daughter's moving to Montana. That's 2/3 the way across the country from us. My wife doesn't want to see her baby go. And my daughter, to not feel the hurt of moving, is being mean to my wife. And I don't think it's intentionally. I think it's subconsciously. But the two of them are scrapping all weekend. And I had to referee a little bit yesterday and say, listen, we only have a few days left before she leaves. And we want that to be special and meaningful, and fighting like this is not the answer. And then we had lots of crying and lots of emotions. So that has been the end of my weekend. We got some stuff packed up. She went back to Pittsburgh for a couple days. She's going to pack up the last few things. She's coming here Tuesday night. We are leaving Wednesday morning for Montana, her and I, and we're going across the country. So what's interesting is things I'm learning a little, because I've never been to the Dakotas, Montana, any of those places. And when I've been to Minnesota, I've always flown there. But we were told that once you kind of move into the Great Plains, you're not supposed to drive after 8 p.m. because it's pitch black. The animals are large, and they can run out into the highway super quick, and you have no reaction time. And they are like moose, elk, bison are much bigger than the white-tailed deer that we're used to here in the Midwest and Eastern United States. And so we decided to leave a day early to give ourselves some more time to be able to stop around 8 p.m. every night, get a hotel. But man, just fascinating things that you learn that I didn't know about before my daughter was going to move to the Great Plains of the United States. But I've seen bison before. I've never seen an elk or a moose in the wild. So that could be fun. That could be real fun. I don't think I've ever seen a bison in the wild. I've seen them in captivity, but never ever seen them in the wild. So yeah, super excited for the new adventure, but definitely learning new things about what's going on. Denise says, I'm surprised they didn't turn on you. I'm actually surprised they didn't either. But it had hit a point where someone had to make sense of this because it was ruining both of their days, and they just didn't even know what they were doing to each other. Kenneth says, talk about emotional fatigue. It was getting really, really bad. And so that's why I stepped in. Normally I let them solve it on their own. But yeah, it was getting bad to where that, like, silent treatments and just crazy stuff. Every little like request turned into, did you say it to me that way? Why do you do, oh my gosh, it was so bad. But again, they didn't turn on me, thank goodness. And we got through it, and the rest of the day was much better after that, with that understanding. And yeah, so she'll be back tomorrow night, and then Wednesday morning we're off. And I got to get with Corey too about Wednesday's show, because I think I'm going to try to do it from the road. I shouldn't be anywhere where I don't have cell service. So we'll do that one from the road. And then Thursday and Friday, as long as I have cell service, I'll keep putting these up. So I don't want to get too much in the weeds of the CrossFit stuff today, because our Sunday night show moved to Monday night. Everybody was with family last night, and we didn't want to cut that short. Both Jamie and Carolyn would have to drive home from family events. And so rather than make them give up time with their family, we decided to move that show from last night to tonight. So we'll hit all the big news tonight. CrossFit, who qualified out of there. I can tell you who. On the men's side, it was Henrique Moriera and Kaylin Souza. And on the women's side, it was Maria Quintero and Luisa Marquez. They got the 2 spots from South America, or from CrossFit. Sorry, we're not in regions anymore. The one thing I do want to say about it, though, is what worries me is we're in a spot where I thought by breaking down the regions and not using the regions anymore, we would be getting the best 30 athletes to the CrossFit Games. But because people like CrossFit have made theirs where only people from that region can sign up and qualify and participate, then we're only getting people from that region. Watching some of CrossFit this weekend, it was obvious that at different levels, this was a step down from the competitions we're used to here at, like, Mayhem Classic, Syndicate Crown, TFX. And so, yeah, Lido says Renegade Games have done this too. I know. And so has Syndicate Crown, and so has TFX. I don't think it's going to have the effect that the other two do. But who knows? Watching the athletes compete in all the heats I watched, there's definitely a step down from the athletes here in North America and Europe and Australia. And so I don't think we're going to get the best 30 to the games. If you're going to tell me that Luisa Marquez is one of the top 30 athletes in the world, I don't see it. I don't see it. That, and I think that that is a fatal flaw to making the CrossFit Games the best it can be. And if you want to grow the sport, you need the best 30 people there that you can be there. It is, it was a hard watch because of the level of competition. It just, you watch Mayhem and you see, and Lito says it exactly. Just look at their Isabel times. You know, you're watching phenomenal athletes go through Isabel at Mayhem, and then there were people that couldn't even get out of the first box at Copasor. They were struggling even to get a rep. And I know that for some people that is a really heavy weight, but if you're trying to get to the CrossFit Games, that should not be a heavy weight. So it was hard to watch at times. We're going to break it down completely tonight with Carolyn and Jamie and get their feelings on all this. But I'm really just kind of saddened that we may only get the 25 best athletes and then a few others, or 27 of the best athletes. I think until we can get the 30 best athletes to the competition, it's a fatal flaw in where the sport can go. Because when you have the 30 best, those 30 can affect the leaderboard at any given time. And I think with this, the last few athletes aren't going to do much to change the leaderboard at all. Just my opinion, but I strongly believe that. And the fact that you're trying to make something global, you are making it global by having the events around the world. But shouldn't those events have the best athletes there so that the spectators and the viewers can see the best athletes out there? And then that's how that area grows its talent, by seeing the best of the best on the floor compete, and that something for them to strive for in the future. I don't think by sending someone that's not prepared to the games, and I don't mean that in a way that they can't do any of the movements. I mean that they're going to go there and take a bunch of last places. I don't think that really inspires the local communities to go, ooh, I want to get better and go do that. CrossFit is not the Olympics. It's not this thing where representation from every country or continent is required. In Olympic sports, you're inviting so many athletes that the best of the best get to the top. In this case, I just don't see it, and I'm just saddened by that. Denise says, I think they should bring 40, but I love 40, but it should be the best 40. This has been my problem over the last few years. We don't bring the best 40, we bring the best 30, and then other people to get global representation. That's my opinion. Totally. Lito says, on the other hand, Far East Throwdown is open to everyone, but there's still no big names, really. So Far East actually has a couple women that I do believe could be the best 30 in the world. So on the women's side, I think that is fair for them. When on the men's side, last year, half of them tested positive. I think we had to go to number 6 to get the first one there just because of positive PED tests. So on the men's side, that's much harder to determine. But on the women's side, what's her name? Yeah, they have athletes that can really compete on the women's side for sure. So Sung Young Kim, is that it? I don't. I just came off an Easter weekend. My brain is not. Sahir Kaya, yeah, like those athletes are pretty good and deserve their spot. Shung Young Choi, Shung Young, that's it. Shung Young Choi and Sahir Kaya, both of them are really good athletes and can compete in that upper echelon. So yeah. So I just dumped all my notes and everything on the floor. So if you will, don't mind. There we go. I did want to update everybody too that I've decided that I am not going to attend the World Fitness Project Tour Event 1, and it has nothing to do with them. It has to do with my schedule. I have major family events or things going on over the next few weekends. I think the next 3 weekends. And then when WFP goes, that would be my first weekend break from all of the stuff that's happened. And so I've decided that for my own wellness and well-being, that I'm going to skip that in person and just watch it online. I do have a camera guy going to get pictures. So I'll work with him to get some stuff to post and different things like that. But as much as I really want to go see what they have going on over there, I just don't think my wife will be having total knee replacement surgery on Tuesday. And that only gives her a couple days of recovery. I'd have to get someone to come sit with her, and I will have been doing things every weekend up until that. And I just think it's better that I just be here and help my wife during that first week of recovery, and me myself get a little bit of a break from traveling every weekend. So they did announce the events for the Tour Event 1. We are going to talk about that tonight with the ladies. It's 6 events. One is a double score event. Not double score. It's a 2-part event. I'm assuming it might be a double score. But those are all out. We'll talk about those in detail tonight, just to kind of keep you guys up to date with what's going on in the space there. Another big topic tonight will be Tia. We talked about it briefly last week. Is she retiring? Is she not? I think the thing that really sells home for me that it was a big psych is that she announced that she was saying goodbye to this chapter in her life at Torium Pro. Then the next day, it's released that she has a podcast out where she's much more vague about what all that is, and that she may be doing the games. She really hasn't planned past semifinals. I think if she truly was going to say goodbye, she would have come out and clarified. But I think it's just the game that she plays. She's always been cryptic. She's always been this like, let's keep this hidden behind the curtain. And and I think that that's how she wants it. And so, because if she wanted to clear this up with everybody asking questions across the media space in CrossFit, she would answer the question, and she hasn't. So, Kenneth says, I'm with Amanda Hari. We know nothing. I actually talked to Amanda this weekend via text. We were talking back and forth about the whole situation. So yeah, she's really good at not saying the words. So I think I am in the corner believing that she will compete at the CrossFit Games if she qualifies. So Craig says Amanda is cool. Amanda is beyond cool. Last year when everything went down at the games. She was a lifeline for me for sure. We hung out at a coffee shop right after the incident at the lake. And then we hung out all weekend, just kind of lifting each other up through that time, and we became really good friends. And she just is really, really cool, and I can't say enough good things about her. And if you're not watching her channel, you should be. She's really putting out a lot of great content recently. She always has. She's just picked up the pace a little bit this year, and the stuff is really, really good. Lido says just wants to leave the door open, or if she wins Torian convincingly, she still goes on to compete at the games. I think she has confidence that she's going to win Torian. I don't think she's trying to leave a door open just in case. And actually, Carolyn picked out some words that she used in the podcast that she says is like shows the mindset of a champion athlete. And we're going to talk about that tonight. So we're actually going to kind of dive down that road. And I think what you're going to see from what Carolyn found is that she's not leaving a door open. She knows she's going to come in there and she's going to win. So I don't, because if you're giving yourself an out, then the out is going to come because that means you don't have the confidence. And she picks out different things she said in the podcast that show she has no doubt in her ability, even with less strength, to go ahead and win Torian. And it's fascinating how Carolyn picked all that out. And I can't wait for you guys to hear that tonight. So yeah, make sure to check that out because Carolyn went through everything she had to say in that podcast and found these little tidbits of how she basically was talking smack about how great she was. When is Torian? Torian is later in the season. Let me Google. May 30th to June 1st. So I think that's the same weekend as Syndicate Crown. Jake, yep. Growing the beard out. I decided I was tired of shaving. So going full angry beard for the CrossFit Games season. Okay. Love it, Scotty. Let's go. Yeah, you know it, man. Kenneth DeLapp always says that when I have the beard, my riffs are much more angrier and saltier. So I figured the game season started, time to get into character. So anyway, yeah, so it looks like Torian Pro and Syndicate Crown are the same weekend. And then we'll see what's going on there. Edgy beard. You know it, man. So yeah, there's that. Again, we have a full show tonight. So I don't want to get too much into the weeds today. I want to have the ladies on when we're talking about this stuff. But just to kind of give you a brief rundown of what we have tonight, we're going to talk about Copasaur for sure. We're going to talk about Tia. The age group leaderboards should be final today. So we'll know that stuff. I think it's the 21st. We're going to talk about Gabby and her second Achilles rupture. We're going to talk about the tour events from WFP. We're going to talk a little bit about Laura's documentary that was put out last week. And we're going to talk about Wadland programming. Carolyn has some strong feelings about the Wadland programming for this weekend. So we'll talk about that. And that's what's on tap for tonight, and anything else that may break through the day. As well as, we are today at 7 Central, 8 p.m. Pacific. And that's 5 p.m. I'm sorry, 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific. All those times. CrossFit says, I'm worried Gabby's Julie F all over again. Well, Julie never re-ruptured, but she retired after that event. She didn't even try to make a full comeback. So I don't think you need to worry about that. Do we think they're actually rewatching all those Mayhem folks? I do. I'm seeing the emails that like Carolyn and Jamie got. I've seen some other emails, and they actually indicate in the email if they have rewatched the video and rejudged it, or if because you had good votes from the general public that they did not rewatch it. They actually say that in the email. I think you mean Sean Woodland is not a program for any, but Wadland. I think it's going to be a very interesting discussion. Again, Carolyn has very strong feelings about the programming. Carolyn, strong feelings? Nah. Yeah, she does. So bummed about Gabby. Yeah, it's funny because I became good friends with Chelsea Nicholas, who ruptured her Achilles at the 2023 CrossFit Games while she was winning the 35 to 39-year-old division. And I kept up with her when she was going through a recovery, and she talked about how the Achilles is not back to full strength for 18 months. So I'm wondering if she pushed it early or if it just was a bad surgery. I mean, she kind of leads you to believe that it was a failed surgery. So I don't know. I don't know what happened there, if she like pushed it. And Chelsea actually sat out the 24 season because she didn't want to risk it within that 18-month period. Even though she was cleared to do a lot of physical activity with the Achilles, she knew, and I guess half of this is mental, that it wasn't going to be back to full strength until 18 months. So she actually forwent the 2024 season because of that. Kat's in the chat. If you haven't watched her shows, you should go do that. They're really, really good. It's also a ridiculously massive field, 80 men and 80 women, if I'm not mistaken. I believe you're right. And it's only European and no, that's French throwdown. Is that one open to the world or just specifics? Corey says Jen loves Kat's show. A lot of people do. She gets so much engagement, lots of comments. Can't wait for Kat's next show. And Kat has updates on Real Life Guy. It's so funny, like now that Kat's doing the show, when I'm looking at like my Yahoo News feed and things like that, now I get all of these articles about dating advice. And I probably should just start sending them to her, and so she can actually see if the dating advice being given it works in the wild, or if it's stupid advice. Like, have her give her a thumbs up or thumbs down on the dating advice. I sent her one that was actually listing the characteristics you should look for in a person, because she had uh, that show last week about her ideal guy. But yeah, there's so many articles out there, Kat. I would love for you to like dive into some of them and just be like, this is bogus. This might actually help, things like that, because it's wild what they suggest. Craig says it's a large field in Wadland. Both European events are open to everyone. Yeah, but French reserved spots for European and French athletes specifically. And then Lucy and Roman are competing in it this weekend. Man, if Tia does not go to the games, the number of athletes that can win the games is insane. And I heard someone say maybe Lucy, which I think is a lot of pressure to put on someone who is just coming back from injury. But man, she was awesome at Wadapalooza. And she's really been working hard. I can't wait to see what she does this weekend. Wadland is Spain. Yeah. It's French Throwdown, I think, is the one that reserves spots for Europeans and French, and not Wadland. That I was getting the two mixed up in my head. It's hard. I think she's 29. It's probably a little late for her to be the next big thing, but I think she can be a big thing for sure. She popped on the scene a couple years ago, won 2 games events, and she did that with the damaged wrist. And then the thought was, if she can get that corrected, she could be a thing. But at that time, she would have been like 27. And even that, you're talking, much later in the career than most of not to say that she couldn't do well. Like Emily Rolfe started late and she has done awesome, right? So Lucy could still have an awesome career, but she's probably too far into her career to be called the next big thing. Yeah, I got to interview her one time and she was just incredible, but she has a degree in sports psychology and she was a collegiate swimmer. So she focused on all of that for a long time, and that's why she got a late jump on the CrossFit scene. So she was pursuing other endeavors for a long time. But one of my favorite people I've ever talked to, for sure. At that time, we were doing a show with a sports psychologist, and that's how we kind of connected. And he was a coach in their camp and different things. So we really connected over that and talked a lot about the psychology of being an athlete, which to me is fascinating. Because I'm still watching this Full Swing thing, the Netflix show on the PGA Tour and the Live Golf Tour, and how they coexist or not. And it dives a lot into the psychology of an athlete, and especially these golfers who the pressure is really on them when they're at majors. And I'm partway through season 2, and it's as good as it was at the beginning. And I've been touting that CrossFit really needs to take a look at the format of those shows to make their media tell better stories. And what's crazy is the WFP with the Laura Unbreakable, I think, has come the closest to that storytelling again. And I really do think it's because the Buttery Bros were restricted from using the workout porn from the games. And because they were restricted from using that copyrighted material, they had to go back to storytelling, which made that video so much better. so much better. And maybe CrossFit needs to take a chunk from that or a learning lesson from that in their content going forward. That we've seen all of the workout porn that just tell us the story, and let's go deeper into that. Holly, best stats and information person in the business, coming to the show. Well, with that, the last thing I want to leave you with is we had our bracket challenge. Jamie Latimer won the female bracket challenge, and Brett Owsley won the male bracket challenge. I have sent out their prize packs. They should be getting those in the mail this week. Can't wait for them to get it. It's pretty cool. Hopefully they will take pictures and post on social media because I think it's a pretty cool prize pack. But with that, we're going to continue to try to do stuff like that. Fun little Scott, have you seen Strange Darling? I have not. I have not. I don't. Is it a movie or a TV series? Well, we want to keep doing like prizes and stuff for fun things that are coming up. We'll probably do some stuff around the games. Maybe we'll do something around WFP. Maybe we'll do some stuff like that. Paramount Plus, so good. Lots of twists. No, I tried to watch Den of Thieves 2 last night, but I was way too tired. I had gotten up early to smoke the ribs, and by that time I just didn't have the focus to sit down. I did finish Cobra Kai, which Carolyn watched, so we'll probably talk about that a little bit off the top tonight. And so yeah, but I'll have to check it out. You said Strange Darling. Jay Birch has a top 5 idea for me. All right, cool. I love the top 5 ideas. We do top 5 Tuesdays when we have a good topic. If you have any good topics for top 5 Tuesday, just go ahead and DM me or put them in the comments on the YouTube channel. That would be awesome. What's up, Jeremy? So yeah, what I'm going to leave with is I'm not a candy guy. I would rather have food than candy. 9 out of 10 times. I want like chicken wings and ribs and brisket way before I want any kind of candy. But the best candy season of all time is Easter, because the greatest candy ever is a jelly bean. And not the waxy cheap ones, but like the good ones. Smuckers used to make them out of actual jelly, and they were amazing. Skittles has come the closest, not Skittles. Skittles? Starburst. Starburst has come the closest. That is my downfall. I only bought one bag and I haven't even opened it yet. That is black licorice jelly beans only. That is gross, Holly. Yeah, Corey, it's Starburst jelly beans. They've come the closest. Smuckers used to be the best, but that is my favorite Easter candy. My wife is a huge Cadbury mini eggs fan, and it's really hard to get those. I try to get her a bag every year for Easter, and they're sold out all the time. Andrew Sten says, wrong on so many levels. Reese's Cups are the GOAT. I got to give you, the Reese's Eggs are the perfect proportion of peanut butter to chocolate. Way better than the typical peanut butter cup. Reese's all day and every holiday, Train to Live says. Yeah, I know I'm in the minority. I like the fruity candy more than I like the chocolate candy. Kenneth, Mr. Fitness, only doing perfect bars for my candy fix. Jody says, one Starburst jelly bean and you may as well join a 10-step program. Yeah, That's pretty much it. My dad will do terrible things for Starburst jelly beans. Also, they make candy canes for Christmas. He'll do some shady shit for. I didn't like the candy canes, man. Didn't like the candy canes. My mom bought me the candy canes for Christmas. I had one, and I've got the rest of the box. Probably should just toss it. I mean, it was fine. It was fine, but I'm not gonna blow calories on them. That's for sure. And Jay Birch is skipping candy, going all the way to dessert with some banana pudding. My best friend Sprinkles would shiv somebody for some banana pudding, and my mom makes a homemade banana pudding that is really, really good. Or Reese's Cups. Yeah. Reese's is kind of the king of the block. And their holiday versions are way better than the regular. Way, way better, for sure. So, with that, guys, make sure you put down what candy you want in your Easter basket. What's the top one on the block? And we'll look at that. Maybe we'll look at that again tomorrow. But until then, time to get back to work, you knuckleheads. We'll talk about some more stuff tomorrow on Lunch with the Clydesdale. Bye, guys.